Let's get right down to business. Episode 2 of A For Profit Show. What?
Do you want me to do anything?
But all right, I'm here with my boy Jackylegs, Costanzo.
How's it going? Glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Mark.
Oh, hey, absolutely. I'm the one who should be thanking you. Glad to have you on the show. And so we're just going to be getting right down to business and getting into it. You, my friend, are a business owner, a businessman, and we have for years been talking about business. So let's just jump right into the business.
Yeah, sure.
And give me a little background on how you got to where you are professionally, and talk a little bit about your company. I'll be jumping in too, and we can just rap about Jackylegs and Legs Pay.
Well, let's start from the jump. Jackylegs was a nickname given to me by who knows. It just kind of caught on over the years.
Right.
Growing up, and Mark knows this, we've been playing sports forever, and I was always been the shorter guy, but I ran track, played basketball, still to this day run softball teams, love to compete and play sports.
Oh, yeah.
And, from my business acumen, you do things the right way. You prompt with communication, you solve issues when they arise, you're proactive in getting stuff done. And legs just kind of refers to the hustle or focus or maybe determination that you have to accomplish something.
Right.
But over the years, someone nicknamed Jackylegs. It stuck because it really is a good nickname.
It's a great
nickname. It fits
nickname.
my personality.
I love it. It's your Insta handle.
Right.
Yeah.
We get into all that later. So my nickname is Jackylegs, and circling back to 2010 is when I graduated college.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Going through high school and college, I was always that 2.7, 2.8 GPA guy.
Yeah.
Very smart, but if I didn't really care about the class or it didn't fit my interest at the time, I didn't do well in it.
Right.
So,
yeah, absolutely. You were engaged in something that you wanted to choose to be engaged with in some classes you just sort of had to take, and and also the school structure. I mean,
right. And that's something that I didn't know at the time. You kind of understand it as you
exactly. Right.
go through life experiences, but
right.
I've always been good at math. I always loved sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
So when I went to college, I went to just study business, figuring I don't know exactly how it'll fit me or how it'll help me, but I know it'll help me do the things that you need in business, whether it's starting a company or whether that's being a team member and working with groups.
Yeah.
For marketing, advertising, mathematics, leadership, business development and strategy.
Yeah. So
I graduated in 2010 from Western Illinois with a bachelor's in business management and a minor in marketing.
Right. Okay.
Right out of the gate, I worked at the Allen Park racetrack where I was security there for 2 summers. And sandwiched in between those 2 summers, I was also the marketing intern for 1 summer.
Oh, okay. So you got some marketing experience there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I knew that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I knew that. I think you mentioned that you used to work at Arlington Park, or the racetrack, but no, I didn't know that. No, tell me. So that's where you got your first touch into marketing, intern.
Well, even before that, I had like a minor sales job, and my first job ever when I was 15, I worked at Jewel Osco.
Right.
Just being front end bagger, cashier, so pushing carts in, bagging groceries.
Right. Yeah.
And cashiering people and speaking with people to get them through that line,
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Even back then, you do carts for an hour, and here I am, they only say, like, put 5 carts in max at a time, but I'm pushing, like, 20 of them.
Right.
So I just got off of track practice in high school or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm looking to work out,
You can do it. Push it, yeah.
It comes back to the legs thing. Like, I enjoy working my legs.
Right.
For a small guy like me, if I'm lifting any body part, I can lift the most weight with my legs, so I'm proud of that.
Right.
And that's the natural case with anybody, probably.
Yeah.
But,
Well, but it's great that it works with the nickname, too.
Right. So, that was the start, and then I got a job doing, like, Cutco, kitchen cutlery, vector marketing.
Okay, yeah,
and that was, great knives. I'm sorry name dropping.
Yeah.
But I did that for a summer, and I went to school, and the summer I was a marketing intern, though, I was about to graduate from college, like the year before. So at that point, I knew I was graduating business and marketing.
Right. So you knew what you wanted to do, and you were just getting.
And I had found out about that position just because the year prior, I got the security job there because one of my friends worked there. And so I just got the job doing security because that was a great summer job. I got 40 hours a week, double-digit per hour pay, for a college kid. It was awesome. Yeah. And naturally, I found out that a marketing opportunity, an internship. So I pretty much right then and there said, hey,
Yeah.
Next summer,
Yeah.
may I be an intern? And I got the job, of course, intern, of course. You know, so that we had to do a lot of cool things. I helped with like promotions. I helped the Daily Herald writer set up these mini classes every week to teach people how to bet.
Nice. Well, I should, not to name drop, but yeah, Daily Herald, I mean, that's the big paper around here. The
Right.
Chicago Tribune, obviously, is the biggest, but the Daily Herald is pretty much, the Sun Times isn't really even number 2 anymore. I feel like the Daily Herald.
And the way they do it, so like when they put their picks in,
Yeah.
their picks will still be featured in the other newspaper because
Right,
all the writers kind of go up against each other.
Right.
But the gentleman's name was McManus, Scott McManus. So every week I would do
Props
those.
to Scott.
What's that?
Props to Scott.
Yep. Very nice fellow. But I learned how to like horse bet from there.
Yeah.
But twice that summer we did this Brookfield Zoo promotion day.
Okay.
And part of that was the interns had to dress up in a mascot costume and actually race out of the starting gate.
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
track.
that's good. That's
So
good. Yeah,
one time
that's
was a
good.
monkey, another time was a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are actually both featured on YouTube. So
Oh,
you can
nice.
check them out.
Nice.
I came in second both times, but I was the fastest man there.
Nice. Of course.
I just couldn't see if you watch
Jackylegs.
Yeah, so like you see my head, my fake mascot head bouncing up and down.
Right.
So I'm running blind out there, but anyways.
Yeah.
So that was
That's
my
great,
internship,
that's great.
and then I graduated 2010. I got this job working with an old merchant service provider who I still am very close with and resell, Neelix Transacts, and at that point I had no idea how the payment processing industry worked, but I got into doing sales for setting up businesses with the ability to accept credit cards and debit cards.
Right. There we go.
So
Right.
throughout that 7 years, I gained my ETA CPP, which is Electronic Transactions Association, Certified Payments Professional.
Right.
I've been setting up businesses with merchant accounts, and signing referral partners to resell and build partnerships and avenues to just gain exposure.
Right. Right.
For the last 7 years, and then there came a point in time where I've learned all this knowledge, and I'm starting to grow and learn more about myself as a person. To where now we're here, where I'm starting my own business.
Right.
And what I like about that is now I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
control my own destiny, and I can do the same thing I've been doing for the last 7 years. Still in a way that I'm working with my old company, who I'm still to this day very close with.
Yeah.
And now though I can do it and expand to where the interest that I have back to, I'm not specifically trying to sell one thing for a company.
Right.
I'm trying to help
Right.
the business owner
Yeah.
get whatever they need to succeed. So my company is Legs Pay Business Solutions. Legs Pay comes from legs, as in Jackylegs, my nickname. Pay as in payments. And you'll hear a ton of merchant service providers out there saying we could beat rates. Rates are a commodity
right.
that once you learn how they start, you can always beat rates.
Yeah.
But all those companies are called blah blah merchant services, or blah blah business consulting, or blah blah payment whatever. The reason why I went with Legs Pay is because it was a way for me to distinguish a name that was quick and simple for people to recognize, or
Right,
if I had met them before, they wouldn't necessarily forget it or get it confused with another business, because originally I had gone JCB Consulting, right, just to start my business up. But there's a JCB Bank, which is a whole separate entity.
Yeah.
That's kind of a long acronym. Those URLs weren't necessarily even ready. So from a branding perspective, legspay.com was a cool way that it was new. No one's, Legs Pay, what the hell?
Yeah.
But it's some way that I could put my personality behind it and help grow.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it still deals with payments. It can still deal with business on the go. It can still deal with, as a consultant and professional, if I'm helping you, the business owner, that's an ever-changing marketplace. When you hear about the Durbin Act, or now like chip and EMV card readers, and it's just constantly evolving and changing to where
The technology,
I can brand myself as that professional that will do the legwork and help you succeed, no matter if that's finding an answer for a question that we don't even know yet.
Right. Yeah.
However, every business is different, but I just pride myself on helping people and helping others succeed. And that's kind of where we got to Legs Pay as the business owner. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm not even a year old. I'm not some rich guy owning a business, but I think
But that's awesome. That's why I want to talk to you. Is because
so-
you are starting up. You are a startup. You are.
check back in 3 years.
Check back in 3 years. We'll do another episode in 3 years.
2 years later.
2 years later, and we'll see where you're at. But that gets into what I'm talking a lot about with my podcast is faith. And obviously I want to talk about God a lot and my spirituality and all that stuff, but also just, and we've talked about that before too. We both have faith, but faith to start your own business, faith to believe in yourself, faith, what you're doing is so wonderful, I think, for yourself, but also just showing other people too that doing it yourself is not only a way to go, it's the way to go. And
it's an awesome way to go.
It's an awesome way to go. It's a hard way to go, but I also think that it is more and more so the way to go. As in, what is everybody doing right now is they're doing it themselves. They're starting their own sites. They're starting their own LLCs. They're starting their own, what I read somewhere was that some millennial poll or something, that everybody doesn't want to be, a doctor or a lawyer. They want to be influencers, quote unquote. Well, an influencer, I mean, even if they really just want to be Instagramming all day, what they really mean is they want to own their own business that influences something. They want to be a business owner.
Sure.
That's what's going on right now.
That's the dream,
That's the dream. And I think for me, one of the things I want to talk about with a lot of people is faith in starting their dream, in making their dream happen. And finding their dream for a while, working and building business, for instance, like you, building business contacts, building business understanding, finding a niche that you love, that you like working with people on, but then taking that leap of faith, and that even if someone didn't believe in a higher power, a supernatural power, that to me is such a great way of showing faith, is just faith in that dream and that vision. And we both have been starting our own businesses the last couple of years, and we talk about it all the time.
Definitely.
And I think one of the things that's great about what you're doing is you're more of an actual businessman, whereas I'm an artist and I'm learning from you. And I think, maybe we're learning from each other, I don't know. But I don't know. Right. But yeah, so I mean, talk about a little bit about, your faith in your own business, faith in doing it yourself, and your own personal, faith.
Sure. So, I think it comes back to like self-confidence, and, even going back to, back to the old, I was a 2.8 GPA student, when you believe in something, you almost put that mindset in that you're going to continue to try to achieve it. So even when you come to like a hurdle, it's not necessarily you failed or that you should quit. It's just you trying to figure out the next step to move forward. So even when you make one step forward, sometimes you may make 2 steps back, but that would just put it back into, your mindset of, okay, well, I can't go back a third step. What do I have to do to really achieve my goal? So like when I got my old jobs too, I was always kind of searching for, what am I good at? Or, I always wanted to start a business, but I never really knew how to or how to start or what I should start. And it comes back to what are your passions, Right. So like even in college, I started, just setting up my own sports teams for intramurals,
Right. Yeah.
And you come to the understanding that if you want something done the correct way or the right way, or just the way that you think it should be done, you kind of have to do it yourself. And there's...
Yes, that takes a while to learn that. But
absolutely.
It takes a long time to learn that. But yeah, totally. Yeah, and you have always been that kind of a person that just does it. Just says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Whether it's putting some intramural sports together or, moving on from... I remember when you quit the job and you said, I'm going to start my own business, it was just like, I'm going to do it. I was like, oh, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, so, when we separated... basically, I didn't know what I wanted to do at first. That was kind of like the whole spiritual to where, okay, I know I have all this experience. I've got good experience. I can go get a lot of different jobs if I, get my resume right and start applying. And going through that process, though, I started updating my resume. And I was just like, screw this. I was like,
I'm going to do the hiring. I don't want to be the one to be hired. Yeah.
If someone's willing to pay me and offer me these jobs that I was getting offers for these opportunities for that much money or whatever your opportunity may be or level, there's no reason why I can't just start this on my own anyways. Yeah. And, you come back to that self-worth and belief to where, here's the other thing. When you when you make the decision that you want to start something, you will be so surprised at how much help that you can get by just asking questions. It's okay to not know the answer and seek help or assistance from someone
that's great advice.
is good at what they do.
Right.
Like for
people
me,
want to give advice. People want to help.
Yeah.
They do.
And I'm a creative guy, and with my company, I'm going to start like a blog/vlog on my website, but I don't know anything about video editing. So why not contact my boy Mark to help?
That's right.
And,
That's right.
we can simultaneously put in that energy to help us in our own paths while we're still like helping each other in the same path as well.
Yeah.
So coming back to it, once I made that decision to start my own business, that's kind of when it like became my baby. And just as it would be with my old like intramural sports teams, you can take the same strategy or focus and determination in anything you do, whether that's making the best cheese pizza or
Right. Yeah, sure.
Taking a walk and going that extra half mile just because you can. I learned a lot of that persistence through track and just like testing yourself.
Totally.
But once you start on that path of like trying to build it, and you ask someone else who's already done it for advice, everyone is so happy and willing to help you and give you advice. And it always comes back to you will get out of it what you put into it. But at the same time, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to ask a question or just understand what you don't know as much about it, the process, and go get that information.
Right. Yeah, I think you're onto something though, man, when it comes to talking to other people, not being afraid to ask questions, because small business owners want to help small business owners. I mean, maybe there's a corporate mentality of business being, cutthroat and whatever. And yes, there are people who certainly will take advantage of you, and, you got to have your ducks in a row and you got to know what you're doing. But even
you'll learn along the way.
And you learn along the way too. But even with an industry that, I'm going to the entertainment industry, making films, even though there's lots of ways to make video now and video content and everything like that. I do want to make feature films. I'm making a feature film. So getting into that world, there's a lot of negativity when it comes to helping people. But I still have found, even within that world, that it's better to ask. It's better to seek it out, especially if you have the intuition to do so. If you feel like, this person knows stuff, this guy knows what I'm trying to do. He understands the position I'm in. This girl has been there before. I'm going to ask her this. It's just, I feel like that's such great advice. And it goes back into having faith in yourself too. If those are ideas you have, I think that the people who succeed in starting their own businesses, whether it's a production company or a transaction company, it's the people who aren't afraid to take that leap off of not just starting. A lot of people start businesses.
Sure.
But it's the next step of being able to go out and make sure and get all the advice you need, learn everything you need, get the clients, and continue that process every day as you keep going.
And here's the thing. Once you build that experience, not only does that actual thing of going to meet new people become so much easier, but the people that you meet when you help, you'll find out, this business owner you helped is a tutor company that can maybe down the line help your kid get ready for the SAT.
You never know.
Or, perhaps this athletic company or this gym all of a sudden is the gym that your mother and cousin are going to that have lost 50 pounds. And they're all friends though. Like whether it's a friend that you can help start a business or whether it's a business relationship that you gain that becomes a friend. Every little experience can be so much more valuable than that experience by itself,
Right.
But that comes back to, having the worth and just treating people right. And that's how you get that
worth. Oh, yeah.
That I don't know, the comeback, if you will. The whole karma will get you. Type thing. But
good karma. Yeah, well, right. The worth, man. Yeah. Self-worth, understanding your worth. For me personally, I think I struggled with that for a long time. I probably even could have started my own production company even earlier. If I kind of felt I lost some self-worth, and then also getting into my faith that I came to have. I mean, that also brings to me personally a lot of worth in the eyes of the grand scale of things. But I think that's another big issue with a lot of people starting their own thing is, oh well, I'm not one of these. I can't. I mean, it's that's and you don't know until you fail, and you're going to fail, I mean, you're going to fail. I failed a lot and I will continue to fail, but it's just about having that self-worth and saying, no, it's worthy for me to continue. It's worthy for me to do it by myself. It's worthy for me to try. And I think, personally, I really feel like, you're somebody who has that self-worth. That's
Mm-hmm.
very important. It's not, it's confidence. It's not arrogance, but it's self-worth. No. I'm worthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important.
You know, you always want to see your friends do well.
Yeah.
From
right.
a business perspective, you don't want to do business with someone that's not successful because, you know, and generally speaking, because at the end of the day, they won't stay in business then, or you won't stay in business to continue to get that help.
Yes.
So really, you know, again, it's the whole,
Yeah.
you know, each individual part added together is not greater than the actual sum of it together, because there's that extra camaraderie or special sauce, if you will,
Yeah.
that when you got all these things helping to build one another, it can take you to that next level.
Right.
And you know, from a spiritual standpoint or faith standpoint, you know, whatever your beliefs are in, it comes back to just having confidence in yourself and treating people right and really trying to spread love and joy. But those are the things that make me happy. You know, like if I can help a business owner who's also like, you know, a friend of mine,
Right.
you know, run their business to be successful, that makes me feel awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yeah, and you've already helped so many people, and I'm going to hire you once I'm getting into a lot of transactions.
I'd be happy to help, you know?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I'm happy to, like, maybe not get an account if it means point you a different direction, or, you know, I'm not...
You have
know, I find
integrity, you're going to
success
tell them
in-
the truth, yeah.
Exactly. You know, no one wants a snake skin salesman.
Yeah.
And it comes
Snake
back...
oil salesman.
Right. And it
Snake
comes
oil salesman, yeah.
yeah, well, whatever that
Or whatever,
is.
a snake salesman. Yeah. Right.
I don't know those catchy things. I'm not one of those.
I'm not one of those. Good point. Good
Right.
point.
But, you know, like, coming back to when I started my own company, and it did take that leap of faith to believe in myself. And here's the thing. If you're, like,
Yeah.
my piece of advice is if you're thinking about it, but you say, I don't know how to do it, just try it anyway. Because the satisfaction that you'll get out of trying, and then when you're trying to do it, probably you're going to succeed because you're actually putting all your effort and mind and focus back into it.
Yeah.
You know, when I got A's in my classes back in the day, it's because I wanted to be there and I enjoyed it. When I failed the class back in the day, it was because it didn't interest me, or it was too early in the morning, or you know, and I, you know, living the whole college life. But once you put your mind to something and you're trying to do it, and you put your own time and money and energy into it, just try it.
Yeah.
Because you can get any job out there. You know, you build your resume up. All those opportunities will still be there.
You can get any job. You can get those jobs. You can do that.
Wherever you're
And
at
you
in
should
life.
probably, you know, like you have had several jobs and learned a ton and worked in this field for
Right. And what's the difference?
6-7 years now?
Whether you're going to fill out employee resume to go apply to that company today, or that company tomorrow, or this company a year from now, you know, because you can always do that. But if you have an idea and you feel like there's a way you can make money and start a business off of, you know, be smart about it. Make sure you're got support and enough capital, and just don't go all balls out blindly.
Well, of course,
you know, do your due diligence. But when you factor all that stuff in, just go try it. Try an idea.
Yeah.
It could be so simple where you don't even realize it's a business idea yet. It's just a hobby of yours.
Yeah, just something that is
And then,
passionate.
and then you learn that you're good at it. And then next thing you know, like, hey, there's a need. And if I can present this in a marketable way to help people, next thing you know, you got a business.
Yeah, there you go.
And it doesn't have to be $1 million business. It could make you $500 a month.
Right.
It can make you no money
sweet,
a month, but it can give you joy, because maybe it's a sport, or maybe it's a yoga, or a, you know, teaching people how to meditate, or just coming back to your thing as an audio guy and a video guy. You know, like how many videos have we done over the years in high school?
Yeah.
Just for random group projects or whatever, and it's like, you weren't charging anybody any for that, and you didn't know what you're doing as a sophomore in high school. Next thing you know, like, we had fun, and
here we go.
10 years later, 15 years later, whatever, here we are, and, like, hopefully, you know, you feel that joy of trying to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Right.
You know, that's a good feeling.
Right. And I, like, with this show, with this podcast, I'm not looking to, I don't think I'm going to make any money off this.
Right.
You know? It's just part of my production company, part of what I'm doing. You know, I'm interested in other people. I'm interested in talking about certain topics. I'm interested in this new format too, and this new thing that is kind of taken over is the new radio, you know, and also it becoming more video too. But yeah, man, it's just, I think, well, you know, you're somebody that's always just inspired me when it comes to a lot of this business stuff.
No, I appreciate that.
You know, because seriously, because I'm starting I have my LLC, and I do need to make money at some point. I'm trying to do the artsy thing, and, you know, trying to do a feature film that is more. I mean, I do think it's going to do well. I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to be good. But it is a different kind of leap of faith than starting a business. Like you said, you've been more of a business mindset, more of an art mindset. Yeah. You come to me when you need some filming done. So, but it's something where other business owners understand what I'm doing, even if my product is different. Mm-hmm. My product is a different way of coming about it, and I can do my product, and you can do your product. Or your service, right, or whatever. But yeah, man, it's good to have people around that are inspiring to starting your own business, to doing your own expression, to being honest too, just being straightforward. That's the other thing. I wanted to say is that one of the reasons why I also wanted to talk to you is that you're a straight shooter. You're somebody that you can trust in business, yes. But as a person, you're a straight shooter, and you give it to you straight. You give it to everybody straight, which is, I think, commendable, but also inspiring. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, yeah, fuck, you just got to do it like Jack. Jackylegs, got to do it like Jackylegs.
I don't really know another way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I give credit to my parents, I guess, for that.
Right.
The old Italian way, I guess.
Yeah.
Having respect for people.
Yes,
and that's the basis of everything.
It probably goes back to what you're talking about with self-worth too, because when you have worthy feelings for yourself, you understand others' worth as well.
Sure.
And that they need to be having that kind of mindset too. And so if you treat them the way they should be treating themselves, that's why I know you're going to be good with Legs Pay. So getting back into talking about more kind of faith stuff, I mean, we've talked a little bit about God and our belief in God. Not too much. I know you tend to talk a lot more about business kind of stuff, and we talk a lot more about that. But one thing is, I just want to ask you, like, what you are somebody that I have talked to God about before, and when did you ever at some point have a spiritual awakening, or have you always kind of felt strong belief in God, or has it been how is your faith?
Growing up, I always attended CCD class. My parents put me through that.
Okay, sure.
I'm a Catholic, whatever that means.
Yeah. Sure.
Because I come back to it. I hate breaking it down to the subsects of, are you Catholic? Are you Lutheran? Are you Christian?
Yeah, and it gets really, really thin too. Yeah. Even the biggest thing is non-denominational at this point. Yeah.
And growing up, I was taught to believe in God, and this is the way that God's word in the Bible. But you go through life, and like, at certain points, I didn't necessarily have confidence or faith in God. I didn't really get it.
Yeah, me either.
Or, in life in general, like...
Totally, right.
When you experience something that makes you sad, or the course of time, things happen, and, maybe it's a relative or passing away, or maybe it's just a bad experience at school, or whatever the case. You're going to have ups and downs. And, part of, I think, having strong faith in God and yourself and whatever you believe in is coming back to maybe you have to question it at some point. Or maybe not necessarily lose faith, but when you start to really introspect it, I think that's when you regain it back. And a big part of that was, just getting closer with my family over the last few years.
Yeah, sure.
Also with this whole business and believing myself. At the end of the day, whatever you believe in, if you read the Bible or something, I don't read too much of the Bible, but I have it in case I ever do.
Yeah, right.
And there's so many small things that are said that can give you inspiration itself, and they just inspire you. And really, it comes back to, if you were to pray, right? You're not, some people say you're praying to the invisible man. Mm-hmm. I don't really know how God would physically project himself, because he's not a physical person. He's the epitome of faith and spirituality.
Right. Absolutely. But that's a good way to say it. Epitome of
exactly.
faith.
But when you reinforce that, dear God, let me, and you pray, or you're thankful for your opportunity to live, and whatever you give to God, really you're talking just to give you that self-confidence again. It's like, I was wondering what God is or who God is,
right.
But really God is kind of like that voice in your head that will repeat what you say, or kind of give you that introspection back, like, hey, this might be a good idea, or maybe it's your conscience, whatever it is. But the more you believe in it and have faith in it, the more positivity you get back from him. Right. So when it comes down to it, I don't necessarily think I'm religious. I rarely go to church. Sorry, mom, dad, and grandpa. My grandpa goes to church every day or every week.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's cool though. That's totally cool.
Yeah, that's his thing. Yeah.
But it really comes down to
Was this Grandpa Joe? No.
Grandpa Jack.
Grandpa Jack. Sorry, Grandpa Jack.
Yeah, my dad's name's Joe.
Right.
Jack.
Right.
Yeah, I'm named after my grandpa. So you want to talk about inspiration? He's another one that's like, he worked at Jewel till he was, I'm gonna say 85. And he just walk a few hours every morning, clean all the glass. And he's the one that came over from Italy and really started a whole family here. Yeah.
Talk about faith, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you see the people around you like accomplishing things and treating people right.
Yeah.
And as a kid you just see it. And then as you get older you start to understand it more and appreciate it more.
Yeah, right.
But coming back to the whole faith thing, it's like, and God, like if you believe in God, great. If not, it's okay too, I guess, but believe what you want to believe in. But believe in something, man. Believe in something to where you can have that feedback to where you believe in it, you get it back out of it, you know? Right. Whether that's treating people right, which end up treating you right. When you do something positive and you do a lot of it, the natural law of relativity or the universe, if you will, is to treat you that back, Yeah. You put something of worth and focus into whatever your hobby is or after school activity or school or business, you do it the right way, you'll get success out of it. Right. So,
well, that's why I'm going to have people on here and be talking to people about faith, not just in faith, religious faith, but faith in themselves, faith in their worthiness, faith in other people, faith in that life is worth it, that everything's okay. Yeah, like you said, it's. I love the way you said it too. It's like, you can believe in God or not. I mean, that's fine. But because the point is, it's not even believing in a God that was presented to you. It's believing in belief. It's it's having faith in faith. It's like at the epitome of faith. That's God to you. That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, I love that.
Came up with that. I'm on it.
That's great. That's great. No, I'm stealing it, man. Because that's what it is. It's nobody can even prove.
You can't prove
anything.
Yeah, so it's like.
There's no
you
point
can't
in
prove it necessarily,
but
you can't disprove it either. And
right, but what they are scientifically finding is that belief, when it comes to your physical body and your mental state and your psyche, is so powerful that your life then conforms to that belief. So if you believe that you can have healing occur in yourself, that is more important than necessarily chemo.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's the faith, and it's not just power of prayer, intention and stuff, but it's physically like the way we're wired.
It's like your thoughts and focus can manifest energy to like make real stuff reality, kind of.
Have you been reading the same articles I've been reading? Probably.
Yeah.
No, but that's
I love reading, so I'll read it.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the other thing: is like. Whether you're Hindu or whether you're Catholic or whatever, you're Christian, whatever, Muslim, in your Bible or your Quran or whatever your, old literature is.
Yeah. There's scripture. Scripture.
Yes, the scripture. There's always like these stories that are pretty much like the exact same, but just with a different name. And there's physical evidence of like a crazy flood. If you guys ever check in Mount Sinai, like there's some great evidence to that, and it comes back to is like, I don't know how we got here, and when you really think about it, what came first, like the chicken or the egg? Something had to come from somewhere, and I don't know how that happened, but I believe something happened to where now you get your whole belief system, but I don't know.
No, but no, exactly. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows.
Right.
And that's why faith is so important. And it is physically you can use your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your intentions, and your focus, your attention, and that faith in whatever you're putting towards that manifests. That's power of intention, power of law of attraction, whatever they're saying.
Yeah, whatever you call it. And it's like this. I was like, if you are a churchgoer and you go to church. And it comes time where you're handshaking everyone's hand and say, peace be with you.
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden you're just shaking the hand of 10 strangers and 3 family members and everyone's smiling at each other. Like, that feels really good.
Yeah,
or, if you go to a sporting event and your favorite basketball player just dunked it and your team won the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl.
Right.
And you have 50,000 people screaming in joy simultaneously, and you get those goosebumps. Like,
Yeah.
how do you physically tell me what's going on there besides your spirit and emotion just combining with others
Yeah.
to manifest happiness?
Oh, yeah.
And there's like that
Right.
common goal there, or
Right.
common just experience.
That connected
It's where
energy.
I don't know. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
explain that physically. Maybe you can, but it's like one of those things where you can't see it, but it happened.
Right.
You know.
Right. You can sense it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm sure we're getting to the point where you're starting to physically be able to test those things
Mm-hmm.
that before we weren't, and we're realizing, oh yeah, wow, there's this. I mean, even just getting back in the last few hundred years, getting into electromagnetic waves and radio and things like that. It's like, oh my gosh, these things exist that, you know, you can't see or hear or whatever unless you have special equipment or technology. And it's like, it'll go up to the point where, yeah, it's, you know, it's no longer, you know, a leap of faith to believe in technology. And that's why it's like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, we can learn out everything about the physical world we need to, but still, it won't explain that connection between people. It won't explain what you're talking about is that feeling, you know, because you can see the emotion rise in people on a chart, and you can see the electricity going through somebody's body or whatever, and it's like, okay, yes, those are functions happening in your body,
Right.
but that's not what is what's happening between the people, and that's not, you know, what you sense is there is a higher thing going on.
And I think like once you get more and more of those answers, I think, I don't necessarily think science conflicts with religion or spirituality either. You know,
Right.
I think
exactly.
they can work together to explain a lot of
Right.
things.
Yes.
You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I've heard, and I would like to see if it's true or not, but when someone dies, they lose a certain amount of weight that's not actually consistent to the physical weight of those body parts or fluids that you lose. And really, it's like,
yeah.
you know, the matter, the spiritual mind, there's some type of energy there
Right.
to where when someone dies, like, it doesn't go away necessarily, or it does go away, but it still is there.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it, but that's one of those questions where,
That's where
like,
faith comes in. Right.
you know, maybe that's how can you explain the unexplainable?
Right.
But via those things, it's kind of like, hey, that's kind of interesting. You know,
Right.
let's
Yeah.
figure more about that. But I would love to learn. Here's the problem: you can't put a tangible explanation on the spiritual faith,
Yeah.
because that's what faith is, really.
Right.
You know, but
Yeah. Well,
I've always
right.
been this is how I get in trouble, because I just always ask questions. You know, like I'm just wondering about things.
Yeah. But that's good. Well, that goes back to what you're talking about with business too. I mean, whether it's spirit, whether it's business, whatever you have faith
Yeah,
in.
go get your questions answered. Once your questions
those
arise,
questions- yeah,
go get them answered.
Exactly. And whether you bring them to God or you bring them to your business partner or your clients or whatever, you know, you have questions that arise, and stuffing those questions away gets you nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It does not get you anywhere. I tried to do that for a while when it came to my personal faith and not having all the answers, and not that I have all the answers now, but I had so many questions that I just needed to start asking them.
And this is the thing. It's like, if I asked you, how come you weren't at this level of spirituality back in the day? You know, it's not your fault.
Yeah,
It's
right,
because you had to
exactly,
kind of feel that question or that low or that whatever. Like, okay, now here comes the questions, and now we go seek them, and then that's how you get to where you're at today. And we're only 30. I'm 30.
Yeah.
He's 31, right?
That's right.
He's
That's
actually
right.
3 days older than me.
That's right.
But it's like, you know, that's the point too. Is like, we're 30. And we're not old, but we're not young either. Right. But we still are not, you know, from what they say we're supposed to live by, we're not even halfway done with our life.
Right.
So it's like, you don't have to have all the answers either right now. And that's okay.
Not. Absolutely not. Oh yeah, we have time to question, time to fail, time to try things. Absolutely.
Because all of it's gonna happen.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, keep living, and that's how you succeed.
Right. Yeah, man. Well, one of the other things I was thinking about when it comes to you is we do like talking about movies every once in a while, and one of the movies that I think you brought to me, or at least I rewatched after we talked about, was Book of Eli.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Book of Eli. Because Book of Eli for me it helped me with my faith, honestly. Like it
Really?
really did.
That was
like,
a cool movie. I liked it.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I think I'd seen maybe parts of it a long time ago. Or maybe I'd seen it like when it first came out, but at that point I had disbelief in God and you know, I was not on that page. And then you brought it back into my consciousness and was like, no, Book of Eli is so badass, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. And I rewatched it again a couple years ago when we talked about it. And I've seen it 3 times since.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's so badass.
I love that movie.
Oh yeah, it's so dope. It's so it's Denzel at his best.
Yeah.
Great acting, great action, really fantastic visuals. I mean, it's just themes. It's obviously the whole thing is about a guy protecting this book, which ends up, you know, not to spoilers.
But you never really find, yeah. You never find that out kind of until the movie progresses.
Right. Well, right. You don't even know. Right. It's partly a mystery. It's like, what's this guy about? What's he doing? What's his book he has? Wait, he has a book. Wait, there aren't that many books around.
Why
it's
are so many people after it?
Why are so many people after it? All these questions start arising in the movie. And so it's hard to kind of, if you pitch it, you kind of start giving things away because you know that's the story. But it ends up being, spoiler alert, it ends up being about a guy protecting one of the last copies of the Bible in a futuristic dystopian setting.
Yep.
And it ends up being so important, not only because it's a book, which is rare at this point, but because for whatever reason, in the past, this book, the Bible, was wiped away. And so this guy has one of the last copies.
And the guy that was trying to essentially take over the world wanted to get rid of it because as long as the people had access to that book, they would still have hope and faith and belief.
And that, I was just getting to that. Just getting to that. Exactly. That's the point of the antagonist in the movie, is that he wants to make sure people don't have faith anymore. And this book, obviously the Bible is the word of God put into words when it comes to a Christian faith, which I have. But in the movie, like, regardless of it being the Bible, you know what I mean? What I think the movie of the Book of Eli, for me, really does is it shows not only the importance of faith, but the importance of maintaining actual tangible faith. You know, it's not just the Bible. It's about keeping, you know, tradition and keeping tangible, actual things that ground you to reality and ground you to your past and ground you to your future, and having actual things, you know, that's like, in the movie too, there's a lot of, you know, scarcity going on and things like that. And certain things are really, really inflated in prices, and whatever, it's water and all these other kinds of things. And even women too, and whatever. And it's you know, a dystopian landscape, and things become very, very important. And this one guy, Denzel, my man Denzel, his entire life journey is walking across what they don't even know is if it's America. I guess it's America, but like they
we'll assume it is.
Yeah, but it's dystopian future. That's and they know there's a coast that he's trying to get to the coast. And
no, it is America, because remember they go back, it was the prison, Alcatraz.
Right. Yes, of course. Right. Yes, yeah. It's America, but that's not even the point. The point is that the maps are kind of gone, and nobody really knows what geographically is going on. And they're not even sure if they can get to the coast or how far the coast is away. Whatever. So, you know, talk about not having GPS. It's like they don't have maps anymore. They've gone Stone Age. So his faith in reaching this land, which is ridiculous, quote unquote,
who people don't even know exists.
Right. They're not sure. Yeah. It's almost mythic, legendary. Oh, the coast, right? Or is that what they call it, the coast, or
something like that?
Yeah. The ocean.
All the west. Go west or whatever.
Yeah. But his entire life is getting there with this book. He just knows that he needs to bring this book there, and that's his journey. And along the way, a movie happens,
right? And
which is awesome.
And then
which
you figure out some crazy shit at the end.
And there's some crazy, right. I don't want to give that spoiler away. There's a great twist, fantastic.
As soon as that happened, he's like, "Hell yeah, Denzel!
You did it.
You did it.
You did it. You totally did it. Oh, that's some of his best work. I really think he's just fantastic.
It's an awesome movie.
It's a great, the Hughes brothers. But there are certain movies for me that have affected me on a cinema level. You know, it's like, okay, those are influential and great filmmakers. But then there's other movies, like The Book of Eli, that have helped me on a spiritual level, that have focused my faith better, that have taught me things, that have, I've learned a lot from about faith, or about filmmaking too, and faith in filmmaking.
And that's the thing is, like, when you watch that movie, you never were going into it thinking, all right, I'm going to improve my faith by watching this movie.
Exactly. I had no intention of that whatsoever. And I came out and I'm like, oh my Lord.
Yeah,
my Lord.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Yeah. I get it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you've also given me other kind of recommendations and stuff, and we talk a lot about movies. And a lot of times we talk a lot about movies over a nice joint or a nice blunt, because we both partake in the green. Now, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about, is that for me, it not only is not about getting high, but it's taken on a spiritual level. I know for both of us it's medical. I know for both of us it's something that should be completely legal. And I mean, we're not going to even make that argument. It's preaching
don't
the
get me started.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode.
Right.
Like just talking about that. So we're on the same page there, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Even if people who are listening right now don't agree with that, then screw you. You have no idea what the hell is going on in life,
I would
in
say
the
that,
world.
but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, but what I would say is that at this point, the legality of it is
It's still very taboo.
I think it's at this point taboo to be against the legalization, because it used to be taboo to be for it, but now it's just the studies, the people, the things that are happening right now, it's going to happen. It's moving towards that. And anybody who doesn't see that and doesn't understand that has a personal vendetta. Is at this point, I feel like it's personal. Like you personally, my son, he just smokes weed and he's lost his motivation.
And that's a personal vendetta, assuming that they're not educated on it, to where
exactly.
I can send you so much
ignorance.
evidence to
There's a lot
say
of
this
ignorance,
is like a miracle plant. You know?
Yeah.
But again, don't get me started. So.
Yeah.
but
I want to get you started. I want to get you started a little bit because I really feel that you're somebody that has helped me in this journey of coming to understand cannabis as a medicine, as a plant that is, for me now, sacred. I look at it as a sacred herb.
There's whole religions
exactly
around this plant,
Exactly. And we talk about it all the time, and it's just something that I feel I'm trying to break the taboo of it too, because I'm also, with this show, I want to be talking a lot about faith, right? I want to be talking a lot about God. Well, there are a lot of people who are really into God who are not really into cannabis because of mostly just things they've been told and things they've believed in, and they have no personal experience. They're ignorant on the actual science.
I feel like the hardcore religious people, I mean, it's not a sin, because I feel like that's what would have them against it, maybe.
Right.
They think it's a sinful act, but reality is I don't personally believe that.
Yeah. Right.
Did God not say, like, I give you all plant and herb-bearing seeds on
Yes,
this
he did.
plant?
Yes,
plant
he
for your
did.
utilization, like.
Oh yeah, throughout the Bible. It's
and look
ridiculous.
how your body can utilize it, and how many things it can help medicinally.
Yeah, right.
And we're not just talking about, it can put a smile on your face, which it will.
Yeah.
It can help you sleep if you need it, or calm you
right.
down if you need it.
Right.
But really, like, it gets your metabolism going. Like, you'll get hungry. You know, how great is that for cancer patients who don't have an appetite?
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
There are literally kids with epilepsy that have 40 seizures a week, maybe more, 40 to 100 seizures a week, where a little drop of cannabis oil on their foot went from 40 to 100 seizures a week to literally 2 seizures a month.
Right.
And it's
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's so much
ridiculously amazing. Yeah.
benefit that is out of it once you put the science behind it. But unfortunately, like, at the federal level, you can't really put the science behind it without fearing, the feds, if you will, like, to come after you.
Right.
But that's starting to change.
Yeah.
I think
Sessions is an a-hole.
I all of them,
the whole administration.
But there's really no reason why it should be a Schedule I narcotic with morphine and heroin.
Oh Lord.
And cocaine, Schedule II. Like, how is it a gateway drug to cocaine, a more dangerous drug that you personally labeled as a less dangerous drug?
Right.
It's really not it's weed will alter your mind, but it could come down to it. You can break it down to where you don't get that psychoactive effects, if you're using it for epilepsy, if you're a kid,
Right. No, right. Yeah, you can just focus on the other cannabinoids. Yeah, exactly. 'Cause you don't have to focus on the THC. You can get the strains that, yeah. No,
to me, it's no different than a person wanting to drink a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or a tea or water or have a beer. Well, there's a difference. If you
or a glass
you
of
smoke
wine,
20 joints, you'll probably fall asleep.
Yeah,
You
right.
take 20 shots of vodka, you'll probably go to the hospital and you might die.
Alcohol poisoning. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And no one's ever died with cannabis. But it's something that I have faith in. It's something that has helped me with my faith. And
I was actually watching a podcast a few weeks ago. It was with, can I name drop?
Name drop.
It was Chong from Cheech, or maybe it was, I don't want to say it was Chong or Cheech, one of the Cheech and Chong guys.
Yeah.
But he was on Be Real, Cypress Hill's podcast.
Okay, nice.
And he asked, Cheech and Chong, like, why are you guys so on it in the 70s, knowing the taboo against it at that time?
Right.
And he's like, what we had behind us was the faith that we were right.
Yeah.
We knew the truth. And that's why still to this day, now we've
That's
made so
right.
much strides in the legality of it. But still, there's so much to go. From a payment processing standpoint, like, there are legitimate businesses
Yeah, right.
in legitimate
exactly.
states that are following all state laws, but they cannot charge by credit card because still at the federal level it's Schedule 1 narcotic. So they have to keep it as they can't. They have trouble opening up bank accounts or setting up credit card transactions.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's no different than if you were to go to a pharmacy to get your Advil. Or it's no different than if you're going to your Jewel Osco to get some Cheetos, your grocery store to get some.
Well, yeah, it's better for you than Cheetos or
You're gonna
Advil,
get
I'd probably
started
say. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but it's interesting you say what you just said about them not being able to do business or credit card transactions yet and whatever, because that's so interesting from you as a businessman and the way in your business and what you do. You're looking to the future. Even if you didn't smoke weed, you're like, you know what? When this does drop away from a Schedule 1, there's going to be a lot of businesses looking for my service.
Oh, yeah. And you'd be surprised at how many business owners out there do,
Right.
Because it's been so taboo
Right.
in recent years. And it's, it's coming around. But so many people wouldn't even tell you that they got help from it. But how many soldiers will tell you that it's helped with PTSD?
Countless.
How many cancer patients will tell you it's helped them beat cancer?
Countless. Right, exactly. And for me, I had gut health issues, mad gut health issues, and just it was been my medicine.
So many people,
right?
Personally and professionally with Crohn's syndrome, or just that gut where you're always feeling nauseous for whatever reasons, and
Yeah, and it has been my medicine. It has been the only medicine. I haven't any pharmaceuticals that I tried. I have GERD, so acid reflux, quote unquote. And any pharmaceuticals I was doing was making things actually worse. And so I stopped doing any of that and just kept with the cannabis. And it has been my medicine, and it led into it become more of a sacred herb for me, something I use spiritually and creatively and medically.
And it's not a sin because it's helped you.
And it's so not a sin. It's so not a sin. My sister doesn't partake, and she's cool. She's totally cool with me partaking. But she's gotten into essential oils. She does doTERRA essential oils along with
in the same family.
She does massage therapy, does the oils, and one of the controversial oils that people can get is obviously the cannabis oil.
CBD.
CBD, yeah,
specifically, which is not legal.
Right.
Illegal. It's legal.
It's legal. Right. Yeah. Look it up. It's fantastic. CBD is amazing.
Right.
Won't get you high. It'll just help you with anxiety and myriad of other issues. But something she brought to my attention was what you had mentioned too, is the references in the Bible to sacred herbs, to oils, to Jesus and his disciples using oils on people for part of their healing, to Old Testament stuff, stories of herbs, and I mean, it's ridiculous, and most of the time
it wasn't even illegal in our country till 60 years ago,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah, right. And it's not even right. It's not even specifically cannabis either. It's the idea of herbs, spices, plants, the earth healing you. That is so intrinsic with God and his word. I mean, if you look at the Bible as God's word, let's just say in a Judeo-Christian Western civilization, let's just say that's the main, let's just say that for a second. Okay, well, in that book it says all herbs are yours. Yeah, right, like you said.
I gave you everything on this earth that you'll need.
Yeah, and my only son uses oils to help heal people, and there's countless. I mean, we could do a whole episode just going through all of the references in the Bible. And so when that happened, because she's always been somebody who's been very open about her Christian faith, my sister, and for a while I think was kind of against me smoking weed, or just kind of felt like I was maybe doing it too much or relying on that and not so much on God. But once I got into my own faith and we've come to have more discussions about God, she's come to these essential oils and started to learn more about that with the connection to the Bible. And it's just come around where she sees where I'm coming from, and she maybe doesn't think that smoking the ganj is a sacrament, but I do. Like, I really think that the herb, the plant, cannabis is sacrificial, or is a sacrament, and should be viewed spiritually. And that's why, yes, recreational, it should be recreational. But I think for me, it's not recreational, it's spiritual. That's the legalization for me. It's not a recreational drug that I need to have legalized. It's part of my religion.
Right.
And it's part of my faith system. And it itself has brought me to belief in God. It's like, why would God be against something that makes you believe in him?
That brings you happy and brings joy to others,
Right, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, man. But, dude, thanks for talking, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Dude.
Anytime.
Dude.
It's been a pleasure.
Love rapping about business, cannabis, faith. It's been a major pleasure for me, Jackylegs. And, yeah, man, we'll wrap it up right there, and we'll check back in on Legs Pay in a couple of years.
Yeah, hopefully sooner.
Yeah, a couple of months. Let's do that. A couple of months, yeah. Cool, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.